Hi everyone, I'm John Redding from Boneyard Pictures. Filmmaker Sidney Lumet is highly regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers to have ever worked inside the Hollywood system. Lumet's first feature film was the drama set piece 12 Angry Men, which to this day is still regarded by many as the high watermark for ensemble performances on screen.
I can't see two slaps in the face provoking him into committing murder.
It may have been too many. Everyone has a breaking point.
12 Angry Men also began Lumet's sub-career in being a filmmaker who made some of his most revered works about the grey areas between heroes and villains and law and order in our cities. These include, to name but a few, The Offense starring Sean Connery, about a tense police interrogation that becomes about one's own sanity in policing methods.
Oh my God.
The incredible true story of Dog Day Afternoon starring Al Pacino, about a standoff between police and thieves during a botched bank job.
Get over there, will ya? He wants to kill me so bad he can taste it. Attica! Attica! Will ya?
The quite often overlooked procedural film, Q&A, about the extreme importance of every detail in court processes, and perhaps most famously, Serpico, starring Al Pacino, which tells the true story of a New York City cop who refuses to go on the take.
Get over here and empty your pockets.
I don't do that.
You're my prisoner. You do what I tell you to do. Get over here.
He's going to get nasty about it.
In Serpico, Lumet had made a film about corruption concerning a good cop against bad ones. But in this episode, I want to discuss his later film, Prince of the City, which discusses the grey areas between good and bad and presents some of the good guys like untrustworthy sinners and some of the bad guys like trustworthy friends. Based on the true story of narcotics cop Robert Leuci and the book based on his story by famed ex-deputy police commissioner turned writer Robert Daley, this is Sidney Lumet's Prince of the City.
His name is Detective Danny Cello.
We make cases, there'll be big ones. You'll be the state star witness.
He is Prince of the City.
I'll try not to get into spoilers too much with this episode, as I think it's important not to know too much about this movie to fully appreciate it, as it's a story full of twists and turns and betrayals that for me came as sucker punches to the gut from nowhere and carry some massive emotional weight to them.
But nobody cares about me but my partner. You understand that? Nobody!
It's these moments of emotional turmoil, confusion, betrayal, and much more that I think make Prince of the City one of the most underrated crime films that I have ever seen.
He sees life as we will never see it.
If I decide to do this thing, I will not give up my partners.
That being said, I have to tell you all, this movie is not an easy watch by any means or something to put on in the background. It is a gritty, violent, and most of all, the work that demands full audience participation. Every detail that Lumet gives us is important. And as the film's events unfold, we the audience are asked to understand these events and make up our own minds where and with who our loyalties lie in the end.
I'll tell you something right now. I sleep with my wife, but I live with my partners. You people, you're just out to hurt us. You want to lay the whole up system on us.
It's movies like this that really give me a thrill and remind me why I loved movies in the beginning. It doesn't treat the audience like popcorn-chewing dummies, but asks us to participate in the drama, and I would say tragedy, of Robert Leuci's story, and question the morals and motivations of everybody involved with it.
Is it common practice to sell narcotics in the narcotics division?
We're not dope dealers, we're policemen.
Over the years, this movie has had a mixed reception, to say the least, from audiences and critics.
But now we're getting all this aftermath and all these charges from various and sundry people saying it's a lie and saying that maybe you didn't do your homework very well.
The element that you're talking about has come largely from the prosecutors, who for the first time are not treated as men in the white hats.
This movie caused some outrage from police and high court law officials when it was released, who said the film glamorizes the crimes of the now disbanded Special Investigations Unit of the New York City Police Narcotics Division.
Detective Daniel Cello, Special Investigating Unit, Narcotics Division, Your Honor.
As a side note, the Special Investigations Unit the movie heavily features is the same unit, although by now a different generation of police officers that were responsible for the famed French Connection drug bust, featured in filmmaker William Friedkin's Oscar-winning film, The French Connection.
You gonna tell us who your man is?
When's the last time you picked your feet, Willie?
Who's your connection, Willie? What's his name? What? Answer him!
That might help to give you some idea of what to expect in this film about the dangerous, day-to-day lives of the New York City narcotics cops who were involved in this situation.
Wait a minute, I'm a cop! Come on, up!
To give you some idea of how outraged people were on the representation of real characters in the film, although admittedly names were changed, John Guido, who was the chief of inspectional services in the New York City Police Force's internal anti-corruption program, said that the movie glosses over the enormity of the crimes of these detectives, including Leuci's, and the film suggests that the corrupt guys are really the only good guys in the film. In Guido's opinion, is not the only law officer to have criticized the film. Special prosecutor Nicholas Scarpetta, who was involved heavily in the real case, said, "This business of likable rogue cops not doing anything terribly wrong is a serious distortion. In the film, it is the prosecutors who seem to be as bad or worse than the corrupt police."
In their hearts, they want to admit their guilt. That's the way cops are. That's how you got here.
Director Sidney Lumet said of the film that his intention was to allow the audience to make up their own minds on the moral issues, and that he intentionally made the film with no judgment either way and just based it on the material. And that, for me, is one of the film's great strengths. It's up to us to decide how we view it, and that is what all great and intelligent true crime movies should do.
In my opinion, you trash a person's life, you cheapen their experience when you try to bring it down to one thing. What Bob Leuci went through in that experience and what Danny Cello goes through in this movie is too important, is too complex, is too, pardon the use of the word, profound, to ever be pinned onto one thing. You have to watch this movie. You have to pay attention. You have to listen carefully, look carefully. There are hints all the way through.
Prince of the City is a movie that I must recommend to all crime movie fans because, as a crime movie fan myself, I was enthralled by its detail and direction. But I must also warn you to be prepared for a long haul, as this movie boasts an almost 3-hour running time and features well over a whopping 120 speaking roles. And in true Lumet fashion, his cast is fantastic. It's full of ensemble actors from 1970s and 80s cinema that will have you asking, where do I know that actor from? They're great all the way through the movie. The cast is absolutely stellar, and I have to say that actor Treat Williams, his lead performance in the movie as Danny Cielo, aka the real Robert Leuci, is the performance of a lifetime. This movie also features the great Jerry Orbach in the role that helped propel him to stardom.
You got your mind made up to try me? Go ahead and try me. But not for a lousy $400. At least get me for assault.
As I mentioned, this movie divided the critics, and I think that's perhaps why it's kind of faded so much into the background of the crime genre, although it is now finally available on Blu-ray from the Warner Archives. But to give you some contrast to the negative reviews, world-famous director Akira Kurosawa told Sidney Lumet that the look of the film was absolutely stunning, which is high praise indeed. In Lumet's great book, Making Movies, which is a must-read for any fans of cinema or film students, he said that making a movie has always been about storytelling. Some movies tell you a story and leave you with a feeling, and others tell a story, leave you with a feeling, give you an idea, and reveal something about yourself and others. And surely the way you tell that story should relate somehow to what that story is. Prince of the City is one of my most stylized films I've made, but none of the critics spotted it. And in one of the proudest moments, Akira Kurosawa spotted it, and he talked to me about the beauty of camera work as well as the picture. But he meant beauty in the way of organic connection to the material. And that connection, for me, is what separates the true stylists from the decorators. Personally, I think Prince of the City is one of the most underrated films in not just Sidney Lumet's career, but in the whole crime genre. It is the work of a genius filmmaker. So if you were a fan of movies like Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco, Serpico, or Lumet's other great works, such as another favorite of mine, Night Falls on Manhattan, I think this movie is a must-see. But be prepared for those emotional gut punches because for me, This movie was full of them, and I have to say, they bowled me over.
He's seen too much.
We know how you guys become judges. You pay $50,000 and zap, you're wearing robes.
He knows too much.
Your people are out to get you worse than anybody on our side.
He's gone too far to stop.
Wait a minute, I'm a cop! Come on up! Get out!
Treat Williams is Prince of the City.
Thanks for listening to my review of Sidney Lumet's Prince of the City. If you would like to hear more from me about Lumet's other works and other filmmakers, please remember to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think of this crime classic in the comments below. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.